Zipper rolls out to the right, pitches off to Taylor, and Taylor's to the 20, down to the 15, down to 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown, Billy Taylor! Touchdown, Billy Taylor! Billy Taylor scored a touchdown from 21 yards out. The crowd goes berserk. It was November 22nd, 1969. That they came to Barry, Michigan, all dressed in maize and blue. The words were said, the prayers were read, and everybody cried. But when they closed the coffin, there was someone else inside. Oh, they came to Barry, Michigan, but Michigan wasn't dead. And when the game was over, it was someone else instead. 11 Michigan Wolverines put on the gloves of gray, and as the organ played the victors, they laid Woody Hayes away. Under center is Wangler at the 45. He goes back. He's looking for a receiver. He throws downfield to Carter. Who's got it better than us? Nobody!
Welcome to the Michigan Man Podcast on Wolverine Sports Radio, a member of the V Sporto Network, and in partnership with SB Nation's Maize and Brew, for Wolverine fans from coast to coast. Go Blue, and welcome to our Michigan Game Day show for Washington. I'm your host, Mike Fitzpatrick. In just a minute or two, we'll hear some of what Jed Fish had to say about this Saturday's game, and then we'll be joined by one of our all-time greats, Jamie Morris, with his thoughts on the state of Michigan football. Before all of that, let's start it with my view from Section 17. If you've watched Michigan football long enough, you know our history when trying to defend any team with a dual-threat quarterback. It's not a great history. I know those were different times and different teams, but it doesn't seem like we fared well in any era stopping these mobile guys. So Saturday we get to see another dual-threat quarterback, and he's not Joe Average. DeMond Williams Jr. is the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week for the second time. He tallied over 400 yards through the air last week against Rutgers and ran for another 136. He is the real deal. When he doesn't have the ball, he can hand off to Jonah Coleman, another two-time Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week. So you get my drift. This Washington team is very good offensively. Defensively, they are improved. Not great, but better than average. This is a must-win game for Michigan. Wink needs to get his defense fixed in a week, and the offense, I'm not sure where you start, but it's probably the offensive line. Whether it's the running or passing game, it all starts up there in the trenches. Simply put, we need to be much better than we were last week. Win this game and the ship will be steadied for another week. And I think with this team, it's becoming obvious what we're looking at now is week-to-week improvement. I think we're in for a nail-biter on Saturday. Let's hope we're prepared. At his Monday presser, Jed Fish talked about prepping his team for another two-time zone game and the advice he got from former Michigan DC Mike McDonald.
Yeah, I want to be like the Seahawks and be on a 9-game road win streak. We're on a 2-game road win streak right now. Talked to Coach McDonald, and I've asked him a bunch of things, and we've talked a lot, and we adjusted our schedule when we played Maryland to make it similar to what the Seahawks do for a 4 o'clock kickoff, and we adjusted our schedule this week to make it similar to what the Seahawks did for their 10 a.m. kickoff, 1 p.m. Eastern. We also have a better team than we brought a year ago. We're right now, we're in our second year together. We're not in our first. We're in the second year in the Big Ten, not our first. We're in the second year of going through travel, not our first. We're flying on a bigger plane. We're leaving at a different time on Thursday. We are giving our guys a different schedule leading up to the game. We're practicing on Thursday morning. We're walking through on Friday outside. We're doing things different. The time is the time. I don't look at it as a 9 a.m. start. I look at it as a 12 o'clock start. And wherever we are is what time the kickoff is.
Jed had a lot of good things to say about his young quarterback, DeMond Williams Jr.
I think what stood out is that he had 400 yards passing, 136 yards rushing, made great decisions with the ball. I think he completed, 21 out of 27 or something to that effect. So once again, his completion percentage is extremely high. He averaged 19.5 yards per completion, 9-point-something yards. I think we averaged close to 10 yards per play. We had 60 plays and 590 yards. So, everything that he's continuing to do, he's doing at a high level.
Coach said even though Michigan didn't look the part last week, he considers them a formidable opponent.
We got our work cut out for us against Coach Martindale at Michigan. We know it's going to be a very physical football game. They have an outstanding front. They do a fantastic job. And we know that defensively, it's going to be an extreme challenge. And then we know offensively, the skill guys. I know some of the guys that they have out there we recruited. Their quarterback is elite. Their offensive line, Coach Moore, always does a fantastic job with their O-line, and they're always well known to have great backs and tight ends. So it'll be a tremendous challenge as we play Michigan this week.
My guest today says a performance like last week cannot be repeated, or we're in trouble on Saturday. Joining us with his thoughts on the state of Michigan football is one of the greatest running backs to ever wear the uniform, Jamie Morris. He also hosts the M Zone Monday through Fridays on WTKA Ann Arbor. So stay with us. Joining us on our Game Day segment today is Michigan great Jamie Morris, who also hosts the M Zone Monday through Friday on WTKA Ann Arbor. Jamie, once again, great to have you with us.
It's great to be here, Mike. I appreciate you bringing me back and having some talking about Michigan football. It's been an interesting year so far.
It has been a very interesting year, and before we talk about the Washington Huskies game this Saturday, Jamie, let's back up, if we could, to last Saturday for a few minutes. To say there were a few teaching moments after the USC game, I guess that would be an understatement. We knew going in USC was a potent offense, but in your wildest imagination, did you see them doing what they did to our defense?
Absolutely not. I did not see that coming. It surprised me. And I'm not going to say I thought we were a better defense than that. I'm going to say we made some mistakes out there, and they got to get corrected and get corrected fast. We still have a chance to do the things down the road that we set goals for, but they've got to rectify what they did last Saturday night, and they got to show America. Really, they need to show the Big Ten. Our goals are stop the run, run the ball. And when somebody can stop Michigan's running game and somebody can run Michigan over the way USC did, we got to get together, and our coaches have got to get together and get the players on the right page.
Well, I thought USC coming out of the bye had a great game plan. I'll tip my hat to them. Quick throw, screen-heavy passing game, and it worked. Mm-hmm. But what puzzled me is, I thought, okay, we see what they're doing in the first quarter and into the second quarter, so Wink will adjust. I'm not sure what the adjustment was, but whatever it was, it didn't work all night, did it?
No, it did not. And then they started running the counter tray, mm-hmm. which is bringing that guard and tackle around and getting that back. And it's, I know that it's the third string running back, but hey, when you get a chance to run, you're going to run for days. And he was running, and look, he wanted to show his coaches what he could do too. We got to grab, we got to handle, we got to get our hands on a player and get him down to the ground as quick as possible. I'm sure Coach Wink was as frustrated, if not more frustrated, than everybody else in LA, but he will make sure it's going to get handled.
And watching that game, one of the things that did impress me was how athletic the USC offensive line was. I can't think of the kid's name, but the right tackle, number 77, they were pulling him a lot, and the guards. So those big boys up front, they weren't that experienced. I think there were two first-time starters or young starters in that offensive line. they were very athletic, and they flat out blocked really well, didn't they?
They did. They did a great job. And you got to remember, they had a week off before they played this game. So it gave them an opportunity to get ready for Michigan. And they've watched the film. They saw what Michigan does, what Michigan likes to do. They saw that we alternate our edge rushers. They knew whenever the edge rusher came in, they knew exactly where they wanted to counter Trey at and who they wanted to run downhill at. So, I mean, we got to work on a lot of things, but we have time and we can rectify this situation right away.
Yeah, and you've got to remember, Wink Martindale didn't just fall off the turnip truck. He's been around a long time, and I have to think he's going to get this fixed. Maybe not completely, but we should be a lot better this week.
Oh, we will be a lot better this week, and you'll see the fingerprints that Wink has put on this defense. I think he was the one that was more embarrassed than anybody else, and Wink doesn't like to be embarrassed, especially he's the designer of this particular defense.
Well, another thing is I'd seen enough of USC this year to think that their defense was, maybe the same old Lincoln Riley D. I thought we'd have success against them after watching the Illini just gashed them. I mean, even Sparty put up 30 points on them. Our offensive line, where everything starts, just didn't have a good night at all, did they, Jamie?
No, they did not have a good night. They seemed a little off. USC seemed like they knew what was coming before it happened, and they knew the weak points of our offensive line.
Well, Jamie, in your career, you played on so many powerhouse offenses at Michigan with some really great offensive lines. So when you watch your performance like we did on Saturday night with an eye on what we can do better or fix, what needs to be or can be done in a week?
Look, you got to get in those chutes and you got to drive. We're not driving downfield. The two worst things is we're losing the line of scrimmage. We are losing the line of scrimmage. We are not dominating the line of scrimmage. If you got a man up on you, you got to drive him into the ground. You got to drive him downfield. We weren't getting movement on our offensive line. And that's the most important thing, is that guy in front of you must know that you're going to own the line of scrimmage. And we did not. And they came at us, and it's like we held up as hard as we could, but they were getting to the ball, and we can't afford them to get to the ball. We need to have just a little bit of time. I mean, we have a generational quarterback, I'll say that, and he can get things done. We have two wide receivers that are developing well now, and you got two great running backs that are doing a great job. We just need that time, and we need to work in sync, in unity at the offensive line position.
Well, Jamie, you played with Jimmy Harbaugh. You've seen a lot of great quarterbacks roll through here since then. Bryce Underwood is so exceptionally talented, but he cannot win games by himself. But what is your take on what you've seen from him so far?
I see a young man getting better each and every game he's played. I mean, he understands what's going on. He doesn't rush. He's not rushing game by game. He knows what he needs to do. And the coaches I think they're calling the game the way Bryce needs them to call the game. Now, I know there's a lot of people that let him go. They have released him. They are throwing the ball. We are doing some things that favor what he can do. He throws well on the run. We're running all of the routes to bring him out of the pocket and do different things like that. He can drop back and throw the ball deep, and he's done that. So we've seen a transforming Bryce Underwood too. He's becoming a Big Ten player. Now, people don't realize that Bryce is only 18 years of age.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to remember that. And he's a year from being out of, 6 months from being out of high school.
Yeah.
And he's gathering all this information and putting it all together, and he's performing at a high level. So he's doing the things he needs to do. He just needs a little more time sometimes. He just needs to he needs to be patient, and he's got to keep himself. He needs to stay within himself. He can't play outside of himself all the time, because people love to see him take off and run and do different things. There are things that he needs to do. I think he sped up one time. He wanted to make a play, and that was the interception.
Yeah,
he rushed himself and trying to throw a pass that and that's the confidence in him. I think, and then he knew. When he threw that ball, you could see his emotion, how he walked around and everything like that on the sidelines. I shouldn't have thrown that ball. He knew he shouldn't have thrown that ball. And you know what? He learned from that. That's the thing. He did learn from that.
Well, Jamie, we're so used to seeing great tight end production over our history. Not so much this year yet. So do you think, is it injuries? Maybe Bryce not looking for or picking up his tight ends? What do you think's going on there?
I think he had the tight end early in the early of the season,
Mm-hmm.
and then we get hurt, and then we get the backup hurt, and it's just been the tight ends are in and out of the game. So yes, it has been injury, and it has been time to play with them. But he does look for the tight end, and he will look for the tight end. Trust me. This game, he'll be looking for the tight end.
Yeah, I hope so too, and I think we will. As you said, it takes time, and he's 18 years old. It's a lot to put on a kid, and I think we'll see plenty of progress in the next couple of weeks. Some of the progress we are seeing right now is in the wide receiver room. I think some positives, maybe the only positive in the game Saturday night, was the production of Andrew Marsh and Donovan McCulley stepping up as a 1-2 tandem. That doesn't need to continue, doesn't it?
It does need to continue. And and it's like you said, Michael, it's great that they're getting to that. The coaches made an all-out effort 2 games ago and decided that we need to get the ball to the wide receivers. We need to get it to the guys that are going to get the ball down the field and where we can throw the ball down the field. And they made a concerted effort, and you can see that it's delivering for them. And now, we've had some casualties. The guys left because of it. But you know what? It's all rally around Bryce, because this is what you brought Bryce Underwood here to do. To command this offense and make the offense his.
Well, there was a lot of belly aching after the game by some fans. I know I heard it in my inbox and my texts from listeners, complaining about our play calling and our game plan, which you're going to get. But I keep reminding, I remind people that Chip is a big-time play caller. His resume speaks for itself. Taking into account you have an 18-year-old quarterback, a lot of injuries, a lot of young pieces on that offense, it does look like we're going week to week right now, just trying to find what works best for this team, doesn't it?
It does. Look, we've already identified Bryce Underwood and who he is, and he's 18 years old. He's 6 months from being in high school and different things like that. But think about the young players that are playing in the offensive line. Mm-hmm. They've got to think about what blocks. They got to hear calls. They got to do certain things. If this guy comes up and shades him, or if he directly over him, or is he shaded him a little bit to the inside. This young man he's got to think too. So, it's not just Bryce Underwood that's got to recognize what kind of defenses that are being played against them. It's that offensive line also. The calls that the center makes, it tells the guards and the tackles what we're going to block, how we're going to block, and who you're supposed to block. And not everybody picks that up. You've got things racing through your head, and there's sweat, and you're hot, and you're getting after one another. And it's a lot of things that you've got to take in and then get it back out. And you have like 15 seconds to do that.
Yeah. Well, Saturday, an improving 5-1 Washington team visits the Big House. And they're led by the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week, Damon Williams Jr., fresh off a record-setting performance against Rutgers, both throwing and running, threw for over 400 yards, ran for, I think, 136. We've seen these dual-threat quarterbacks sort of, raise holy hell with us in the past. But this kid he can be a one-man wrecking crew, can't he?
Yes, he can. Look, that kid is something else. He's special. He's an individual who can pretty much win the game by himself if you give him the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to corral him. You got to get upfield, stay in your lanes defensively, and close in on him. You may have to spy him. You may have to spy him, which is right in your wheelhouse for Michigan, because our linebackers are fast and quick, and they can spy very good. We have some good spies.
Well, it's not just him either, Jamie. They have running back Jonah Coleman. He's a fire hydrant of a running back, about 5'9", 220, 225. Two-time Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week himself this year. Leads the nation in touchdowns, rushing touchdowns, 11. And they have an emerging group of wide receivers. So this is a balanced offense, and they are very good, aren't they?
They are. They're a very good offense. You got to worry about the quarterback. You got to worry about the running back. And, oh, by the way, don't forget the passing game because it comes right on top of you. And Williams can throw that ball all over the park, and they have wide receivers that'll get it done. And if you don't think Jed Fish is going to come in here wanting to win this game in the worst way, well, you got another thing coming, and it means something. Not that he has a grudge or anything for Michigan, but he wants to come. This is where Jed coached. He was the offensive coordinator here for a couple years, and he wants to beat Michigan.
He certainly does, and it's a team that just keeps getting better and better, especially offensively. Defensively, from what I've watched, they're good. Two really tall corners. They're both 6'4", very talented. But, man, they do give up yards and they give up points. So Bryce in the offense, I think, and more importantly, they need a good start against these guys on Saturday in the first quarter. But we should be able to move the ball and get points on this Washington team, shouldn't we, Jamie?
Totally agree. We should be able to move that ball up and down the field on them. We should be able to throw on them as well as pass on them. So this is a great defense to go up against for Coach Chip Lindsey. He can do some things, experiment on some things with Bryce if he like. Let Bryce have a little fun and have some fun with the offense. Look, it's a chance to experiment with your offense and see put some things in to see if we can comprehend them and execute them. And Justice Haynes is a guy that we need to keep an eye on if he's ready to play. I thought Coach said in his radio show on Monday that Justice is coming along really good. So that's a good thing for us. But, that gives Jordan a chance to get out there and do his thing also.
Yes, it does. Well, final question before we let you get away, Jamie. A lot of hand-wringing among our fan base in the last few days, as you well know. So short and to the point, is it too early to say this? Is it a must-win game for us?
Yeah, it is a must-win game for us. We need to win this game to get back on the other side of the page, because losing can become a something too if you let this one get away. We can't afford to let this one get away. It is a must game, because we need to get that taste out of our mouth, Mike, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
We can't have a losing game, because the bright lights that we had last Saturday night, they really got us. Now we come home. It's a chance to put things together. We're going to celebrate the 1981 Rose Bowl champions in Bo's first Rose Bowl victory against Washington. So we're going to celebrate that. Guys, the older guys will be back in town, so we look forward to that. But you want to have a good time, but have fun. We just the most important thing is, are you having fun for these young men that are out there fighting for Michigan? And I don't want to hear that this is not Michigan football of old. This is Michigan football. We just need to block, and we just need to tackle. And our pillars are running the ball and stopping the run. We just need to remember that.
Well, it's a big opportunity on the big stage Saturday, and you're right. I hope we have some big fun while we're at it. So Fox there with big noon kickoff. Michigan great Jamie Morris with us today with his insight as to what's going on with Michigan football. Host of the M Zone Monday through Friday on WTKA Ann Arbor. Jamie, as always, it's a pleasure having you on the show. We appreciate, I know my listeners love hearing what you have to say, so we look forward to another visit soon.
Well, thank you, Mike. I appreciate it, and thank you for having me on.
On Quick Hits today, thanks again to Michigan great Jamie Morris for taking the time to join us. No injury update since Monday, so we'll have to wait until Saturday when the pregame update is released. Here are a few game day notes of interest. Michigan leads the all-time series with the Huskies with a 9-6 record. The first meeting on September 26th of 1953 was here in Ann Arbor, a 50-0 shutout victory. The last meeting was in Seattle on October 5th of last year, a 27-17 Husky win. Head coach Jed Fish is in his second year in Seattle. His record is 11-8. In 5 seasons as a head coach, he is 28-30. Last year, the Huskies finished the season with a 6-7 record, 4-5 in Big Ten play. They ended the year with a loss in the Sun Bowl to Louisville, 35-34. They are 5-1 heading into Saturday's game. Their only loss was to number 1 Ohio State just a few weeks ago. The weatherman says bring your rain gear to the big house. We're expecting light rain with temperatures in the upper 60s, so I don't think anything more than a nuisance rain. Winds will be gusting up to 13 miles an hour during the game. So on Saturday, we'll see if last week's game was a one-off or if we really do have concerns about the rest of the season. We're at home in our element, so let's hope the coaching staff cleaned up some of the many mistakes we made against USC, and we are better prepared for what is an ascending football team. Kickoff is just after 12 noon. It's the big noon kickoff on Fox, so a lot of eyeballs will be on this game. Next week, we take the short bus ride to East Lansing and do battle with Sparty. On Tuesday's Visitors Edition, our scheduled guest will be the host of the Spartans' radio pre- and post-game show, Will Tiemann. Joining us on Wednesday's Michigan Game Day will be John Borton from the Wolverine magazine. So make sure you join us. That does it for now. Have a great Wolverine weekend, everyone. I'm your host, Mike Fitzpatrick. Think victory, beat Washington. Until we meet again, take care, and as always, go blue. Thanks for joining us today on The Michigan Man, here on Wolverine Sports Radio, a member of the V Sporto Network, and in partnership with SB Nation's Maize and Brew. Our listener lines are open 24/7 for your calls at 313-263-4842. That's 313-263-4842. Or email us at themichiganmanpodcast@yahoo.com. That's the Michigan Man Podcast at yahoo.com. The Michigan Man Podcast is produced at the studios of Robin Lynn Productions, Allen Park, Michigan, and is not affiliated with the University of Michigan. Go Blue!